I just turned 30, I've never been married. I've had girlfriends and whatnot, and I've lived my life. But I am someone who doesn't need someone to motivate me. I think there are some men, and I think this is a big issue for these men. They need a woman in order to get their ass off the couch. The woman is what's
Yeah.
getting them to go and get things done. And if they break up with that girl, they're back to couch potato, doing nothing, unmotivated. And
Yeah,
so,
those guys were nothing to begin with. They're basically with nags then. And if you have to be nagged to make something out of yourself, you're not a man, in my opinion. You're a male, but you're not a man.
right, this it's much more common than not, much more common than
Well,
not.
well, a lot of, males today are adult boys, is all
Right.
they are. They think that it's enough to go get a job and, work 9 to 5 and they make their $47,000 a year and they have their Nissan Leaf they plug in every night and they
That's the
drive to work.
issue. That's
You
and
know,
that,
the,
that's
they,
sorry. Yeah, you go
they
ahead.
live very common, basic lives, and their evenings are filled with video games and, weed and porn and all that kind of like, they
Mhm.
satiate themselves, with these things to keep them distracted. And of course, they follow everything the mainstream media says. You want to jump how high? You want me to do this? Sure, absolutely. How many times do you want me to take that? There's all of these softer, weaker males out today that aren't men. And that's what good times create. Good times do create softer men, and that's a consequence of the times that we live in today. I think that we're going to see some harder times in the coming years, and things are going to become more difficult, and that'll separate the wheat from the chaff, and that'll, there's that whole fourth turning, right? We're sort of like moving into the fourth turning right now, where we're coming into the better times, but there's going to be a little bit more difficulty still, and I think that these guys will be tested.
For sure. But I think that I'm really glad I got this clarity, and I think I already understood this, but yeah, I because people will say, and I'll be honest, I'll they're especially in my circles, Orthodox Jews, some of the rabbis, they'll say, "Oh, you know, don't worry about money. As soon as you find the girl, God will bless you with all this wealth and whatever." And
Yeah,
I'm and I'm
that's
and I'm look I look at it and I'm like, it's crazy how many people blindly just believe this guy. I
yeah, and
don't care how long your beard is. I don't care how
it's
long
not
your
just
beard is.
Judaism, it's not just Christianity. Like they're all the same. Most religions today are beta factories, and they're not leading males into adulthood, into men. Like you guys in your religion, you have the rite of passage. What is it when they're 13?
Right.
What's it called? The
Bar mitzvah. No,
bar
but there's
mitzvah.
also a lot of,
Yeah,
see, the thing is, original Judaism was not kind of this feminist thing. That people have reformed it because it's too
exactly.
offensive, but there's a
It's
lot
not
of
the original
biblical
version of the rule
scriptures that are
book.
not
I had this
that do not.
conversation with a couple of Christian guys a few days ago. I don't know if you saw the podcast that I did where they wanted to talk about the Christian pill. And it's like, they're of the illusion that if she just loves God enough and has a strong enough relationship with Jesus, everything will be just fine. And that's not how the world works, man. Like, you can't go and put 200,000 miles on a Ferrari, pull out all the dents, clean up the scratches, change the carpeting, roll back the odometer back to zero, put it in the showroom and call it new. It's not new.
Right.
It's got problems. You can call it new, but it's got problems, and that's, I think, one of the great failures of a lot of modern religions today, especially in the West, is like you mentioned, is toxic feminism has polluted the original messaging from the original rule book, which led men to be masculine leaders and led women to be like feminine complements to their lives, right? Where men
Yeah.
would have blue jobs and women would have pink jobs, sort of thing. So I think if you're going to sell any religion, you really need to fix the club first because there's infighting, there's disagreement, there's censorship of certain terms in scripture, whether it's the Torah or the Bible or whatever it happens to be, to soften it down, to be more inclusive, to not offend, feminists or anything like that. So, it's a real problem today. It really is.
My counter to rabbis making these statements is no. I think if you're already motivated, this is my caveat. If you're an already motivated man, where you on your own accord have goals, aspirations, you get up, you go to the gym, you work hard, you have your own business you're trying to run, you
Mm,
really have things that are important to you, with or without a woman, the right woman, a woman who's a complement to you, will help build it. People will see that you're settled.
mm.
They'll see, she's attractive. You've found an attractive woman inside and outside. then I think it'll be a compliment. It'll show your softer side, right? Because if you're a masculine guy,
Yep.
they'll see a beautiful, gentle woman by your side. That'll be a compliment to you. She'll help support you in your, say you're going through something. You don't necessarily have to be overly vulnerable, but she's your support system. She can help take care of certain things. You're out working, she can
Hmm.
make food. You're
That's what I
out
talk about.
doing,
Yeah, it's a
and
whole unplugging process. It's absolutely a reality. Hope is a terrible plan, and I think that's what a lot of religions sell today is just hope. If you just be a nice guy and you're a good person, you show up to a church and you tithe or whatever it happens to be, uh, your God will send you a woman. You are entitled to it, and you're not entitled to shit. And hope is a bad plan.
well, in Judaism, there is an idea of you have to do your part. We don't believe that you can sit around and do nothing. That's why I'm not the most religious person, but if you look at Judaism in at its core, without all the buttering and sugarcoating, there are very, very, very good components that are very true. And I truthfully think that I can't speak for Christianity and Islam. People would look at Islam and say that as well, even though both of those religions really get a lot of their principles from Judaism. Judaism at its core, it's pretty red pilled, man.
Mhm.
It definitely speaks about a lot of things in support of women, but it definitely has gender roles. It definitely talks about modesty, talks about all these things. So
Yeah.
that's why I think listening to all of this content in the last couple of years, I think I already had a good idea of it because of how I was raised. And then obviously I learned it through experience. But that's my 2 cents. I definitely don't think you have to be a religious person to have these understandings, but at least certain religious values I think could be helpful.
Yeah, it's independent of any religion, for being honest. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.